All right, members of IBC Titans Toastmasters Club, thanks for having me here today. I'll just keep my camera off because there's a network lax at my end, which may somehow impact the session flow. So I hope that's fine if I keep my camera off.
Yeah,
Perfect. Uh, so uh, Today, what we are here to discuss is Toastmasters in the age of AI, right? So we all know we are in a very interesting era where things are transforming at the pace of a bullet train altogether, and they are moving towards us at a greater velocity. At this point in time, what becomes very essential is for us to understand that how we are able to thread what's has been inherently placed in us from umpteen number of years with the evolution of technology, with the new technological landscape and the new ecosystem that we are a part of, how we are able to thread that and effectively make ourselves more credible, more impactful, and more effective in our journey as a Toastmaster. Because as you see, the first slide here gives us an impression that is very unique to us, and that's the heart. As a human being, that's the most important thing. The heart is important. Machines, they can learn to speak, but they will never have a human heart. They will never have the emotions, the empathy of a human being, and also the love as well as the courage of a human being. So they are fast in the way they analyze data, they're fast in the way they scale up things, but they still have a long way to go when it comes to being authentic because they are getting trained from what we present to them. The use cases are all human beings. And those machines actually get trained by virtue of what we present to them, and they get better. But we experience it firsthand. Our life experiences shape us into what we are today, and it is going to shape us to what we will be in the way forward. So that's the element that we are here to discuss. That Toastmaster, how does it stand out in this revolutionary era where things are transforming so fast altogether? Now, that being said, tell me one thing and raise your hand. If you used, say, ChatGPT or a Gen AI tool like a Claude in the last 10 days, especially when we were trying to write a speech, anyone, you can be honest. You can put your hands up if you have done it ever. Okay, fantastic. Right. Okay. Now, keeping your hands up, did it help you to write the speech? It did, in a very fast-paced environment where you could have taken a few days to draft a speech. It gave you something readily available in a span of a few seconds. Right. Now, I see all of you, and I also see myself as well. And don't worry, there have been a couple of times as well in the past that I have used it as well. Okay. And that's true for everyone, whether they accept it or not. In an age and era where we are surrounded with technology, human beings' inherent nature is to find ways that can somehow expedite the process. And that's what actually is a transitional phase. Okay. Now, what we need to talk here today, okay, is something in terms of how we can make advantage of this. Because see, the content that went into your Gen AI was not something that actually you generated, actually Gen AI generated. It was human generated. It was your story. It was not someone else's story. It just enabled you to wear off the rough edges and created a refined version of it. So your story will always remain constant, irrespective of whatever era we are in, because you experience it firsthand. That's what we need to understand. Now, To give you an example, say last month, a friend of mine, right, his company is based in Tokyo, and they did an experiment. They had an AI deliver a 10 minutes keynote address, uh, and that was also aligned with a voice and a body language pauses, as well as certain jokes that also landed well. Now, the audience in that scenario gave it a standing ovation. Okay, they were very happy. They gave it a standing ovation, but that was for a machine. Okay, not for a human being, because that was done by a machine altogether. Now, I want you to think about that, because in Toastmasters meeting, we give a standing ovation, and we give it to the person who stood at the lectern with shaking knees, as well as being able to say only three sentences altogether. We still give a standing ovation. That is something which is unique in Toastmaster. Toastmaster appreciates you for showing up, not to be perfect. Toastmaster appreciates you for your courage, not the outcome. Toastmaster appreciates you for the process, not the result, always. The results fall in place with time, but the process is what is always appreciated. We we have always seen that we appreciated a person who perhaps have cried in the middle of a speech and still kept going. We gave them, or we appreciated a person who said out loud that for the first time, say in the last 30 years, my name is Alex, and I'm afraid to speak in public. We still gave them a standing ovation. We didn't stop there. That's what the uniqueness of Toastmasters is. No matter how advanced Gen AI or an LLM model becomes, or an agentic AI becomes, the human element always persists. No AI has ever done that, and no AI will ever do that in the future as well. So here is my question to you, and I want you to sit with it for the next 30 minutes. In the age of artificial intelligence, what is the one thing that is irreplaceably, unstoppably, or gloriously human? Think over it. I'll ask you this question at the end of the session, and perhaps again, you just think over it. As I mentioned earlier, the process is important, not the outcome. You may not always come to the absolutely correct answer, but I'm sure while you are in the session, you perhaps be able to thread that what is that exceptional attribute that we are talking about. Now, that being said, the first thing that I wanted to understand is, see, what we'll explore together in this session is that the world has changed a lot. We have AI, we have the different avatars, we have deep fakes as well, and we know what machines can do in the current age and era. Uh, November 2022, it all started with the evolution of ChatGPT. It's been just about 3 years, and things have transformed so great. Now, if you would see, every other company is competing to build even a most robust LLM application. You have ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have say uh, GenSpark, you have Gemini. So many things are operating that it's a competition. Every day they are launching some additional feature, and it's very hard to identify which one works better because everyone has their own attribute. Now, why Toastmasters matter more is what we'll explore. Because here, Toastmasters, there is something which is an underlying statement that you could see. There is courage, authenticity, and the irreplaceable human element, which only Toastmaster presents to the world. And then how this partnership between AI and Toastmaster can give somebody a superpower. There is a heart model that I will also take you through. As I showed you, the most important thing in a human being is the heart. So I'll also take you through a heart model, which perhaps will enable you understand how this entire trajectory works in the best possible way. And when we'll talk about the future in you. So that being said, AI can give a keynote speech, as I said in Tokyo, right? The audience gave it a standing ovation, right? It was never, but when Toastmasters gave a standing ovation, as I mentioned before, it is never for perfection. It is for the courage. Okay. So we've already answered this question in terms of writing a speech with the use of AI. And I think you are not the one alone. There are a lot of people who have done it. Now, there are three ages of human work that we will have to understand. That was an industrial age once upon a time, as we know for sure. Right. Now, in the industrial age, right, what happened? Here, machines replaced hands. Okay. You had a typewriter, you didn't have to write, and that replaced specifically hands. Then came the information age. Computers became uh, the go-to thing altogether. They replaced human memory. You don't have to remember everything. You can just save something in the hard drive, and it remembers. And now we are in the AI age. Now, what AI is trying to do is, it's not just replacing our hands and memory. It's trying to challenge our mind. That's artificial intelligence. It starts thinking like a human being. So, in this kind of a scenario, right, AI can now write a persuasive speech, say for instance, in 11 seconds. Okay. It can translate it into 47 language, real time. It can deliver it via avatar or a perfect posture. It can detect filler and words and pace issues. It can also generate 100 opening lines instantly. It can also simulate emotional tone in narration, but what it cannot do is feel the weight of a quiet room. When you walk into a room, AI can't do that, right? You place an AI in a meeting room where it's going to be very serious. I will not be surprised that AI starts hallucinating and cracks a joke in a meeting room, and that even aggravates people. Okay. Now, read that one person on the verge of tears that you can do. When you're delivering a speech, AI can just memorize it in terms of what it has been fed as a use case. But when you are delivering a speech and your story somehow brings tears to someone's eyes, and that's when you have to make that decision that, yes, I'm going to transition this in a way that the person is also able to smile by the end of the story. That AI cannot do because they cannot feel that emotion. AI will never go off the script. That is very essential. See, if you would see, perfection is something which definitely gives a lot of glitter, but perfection doesn't create something which is very essential. Perfection doesn't create the chaos that is equally essential for human beings to thrive. Perfection doesn't create that environment where we feel lighter. Perfection doesn't create that kind of a ecosystem where a human understands the emotions of the other and accordingly can fine tune their knowledge, their speech, etc. That's what perfection cannot do. So here we are thinking more from a human angle. So again, AI will not pause for a moment when the moment demands it. Suppose you're delivering a speech and you know for a fact that there has to be a certain pause after a certain point in time where you make the audience think. When I asked you a question, I paused for a few seconds. That made you think. If I were an AI, I wouldn't have paused. I would have continued and jumped onto the next sentence. And AI will also and never be able to replace or think about the shaking knees when somebody first time ever walks onto the stage and still keep going. The resilience AI will not be able to mirror because that is something which only comes from human experience. That is something from that only comes when we get the cortisol levels high within us, feel stressed, and within that stress, we deliver something out of it, which gives us the endorphins. We feel happy when the stress leads to success. And we genuinely vulnerable as human beings. We are vulnerable people. End of the day, we cannot say that we are absolutely perfect. We act sometimes, we all act vulnerable. We have our moments of lowness. We have the moment of sorrow. AI may never feel that, and it will never be able to mimic your story, what you would feel end of the day. That's what is the things that AI perhaps could never do altogether. Now, see, this is what it is. There is a Japanese term called kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken things with gold. So when, for the first time, you go to the stage, you stumble at the lectern, your voice cracked at the wrong moment, you're shaking hands, that is your gold. That is what is the benchmark of your success. You felt it. You understood your muscle memory, understood how it feels to be vulnerable. and how you can transform it into strength that AI can never do, no matter how many times we train them on use cases. The vulnerability comes from human emotions, from what our body feels. AI can never do that. AI has never been broken. AI will never supposedly have gone through that emotional downfall. It has never been broken. Therefore, it has never been healed as well. And that is why it will never speak the way you can. So you can always emote. AI can be perfect in the tone, in the way it delivers, but it can never emote the way you would do. It has never experienced that story. It has just learned it through certain use cases that you have fed it to it. So there's something which is very essential, right? What algorithms cannot automate. Algorithms will never be able to automate the courage to stand tall. We have experienced it, so many different things in our lives, not only on a stage, but in a environment where we function in terms of our personal life, in terms of our professional life. Many a times, we actually have been in a place of vulnerability where we generated courage from within. The courage was not placed in us, but we generated courage because we didn't have an option other than being courageous. And that moment built something within us. That moment built an authentic self within us, a story within us that only we can narrate. Nobody can ever live that. That is authenticity. Your story, your scar is yours, not someone else's. You can live that and you can narrate it better than anyone else. Presence. When you are on a stage in front of 300 people, or you're in a Toastmasters meeting in front of 10 people, or you're in a one-to-one with a person with one person, that presence, you cannot download that. You cannot ask AI, create a speech and download it and just parrot it out to someone. It will never create that presence. The presence can come only when you live your experience in a conversation. People only live your experiences when you live it. If you're not living the experience, people will not live it as well. So you earn it, and the thumb rule is one speech at a time. Empathy, pausing with compassion. AI doesn't know when to pause with compassion. You cry in front of AI, right? It will give you a very I would say, a very articulate response, but you would never feel the compassion that you may feel when you cry in front of your friend, when you cry in front of your near and dear ones, when you look for strength that you may never feel even if you try to seek some kind of a clarity from AI around situations. And leadership, so see, no matter how much I try AI asking that, okay, I want to become a leader, give me five thumb rules, let me practice it day in and day out and become a leader. I'll never be able to do that. To become a leadership, I need to get my hands dirty in the mud. I need to go there, do that, and that requires daily practice. That requires experiences. That requires the grind. AI can never teach me that. It can give me the ways of what to do, but it will never tell me how to do it in a scenario. If you even no matter how much you try to do it. And that's where Toastmasters comes into play. In Toastmasters, you develop all these attributes, which AI will never be able to develop in you. No matter how much use cases you feed into it, it will always give you something which is perfect. But life is not perfect. Life is always full of certain ununiformity. Now, that being said, so this is one example. Say there is an icebreaker, somebody with the name of Meena. I've just gave a pseudonym. It's a 52 years old finance executive, 20 years of boardroom, and she has never once spoken in public without a written script. So she has always gone into the boardroom. Somebody wrote a script, a PA wrote a script, or somebody else wrote that, and she just parroted it, and then she did that. Her icebreaker, when she spoke in public in a Toastmasters meeting, took 11 minutes, which she was supposed to deliver in 5 to 7 minutes. She cried twice. She lost her place once. She said so many times that the timer or the R counter even lost it. Now, end of the day, we as Toastmasters all stood up and we clapped for her because we had just witnessed something no algorithms can simulate, which is a human being choosing courage over comfort. She could have easily chosen, right? Somebody to write a speech and she could have parroted it out, but she didn't do it. She preferred going there, getting her hands dirty in the mud, and taking that leap of faith and leap of courage. She took time. She was not perfect. In no ways, her speech was at all perfect. But in Toastmaster, perfection doesn't matter. The process matters. People stood up and gave her a standing ovation because she followed the spirit of Toastmasters, and that is authenticity. She followed the integrity element. She ensured that she is able to speak her heart out in the most authentic way that creates an impact. So, this is the heart model that I was talking about, which actually, if we put in practice, we can actually thrive in the age of AI, right? So, what is a heart model? The heart model is a human centered framework for communicators in the AI era. What does it include? Everything, every acronym has the abbreviations that you see. It can be broken into something very, very essential. So, say H here stands for human story. AI can give you data, but you can give the data a soul. Like an AI, ask AI to create a story. But if I have not lived that story, can I give a story to Arvind of my life? And can he go ahead and say it the way that I would have done it? Or can Arvind give a story of his life to me? And I go to the stage and speak the way Arvind would have spoken. It's not possible. No matter in terms of how much I try, I can't live that story. I can only be authentic, and people will feel that when I have lived that story. I can try end of tactics or n number of maneuvers to sound authentic, but people will find out. The crowd will not be moved because it is a mimic story. I cannot live his experience. I can only try to mimic that. Second is empathy. So use AI feedback to improve. You can take a feedback to improve, but that feedback can only refine the process. It will never tell you how your speech landed. For that, you need to deliver the speech in front of people. You need to deliver it at home. Take a feedback from a real human being. Deliver it in a Toastmasters meeting. Take a feedback from the evaluators. Then go to your contest and deliver it. That's when how you improve. AI can give you a refinement tricks, but it cannot give you a feedback on how the speech landed. Then comes the authentic voice, the example that I just quoted. I cannot live Arvind's life. I cannot live something, say, Gajalakshmi's life, and she tells her story. I haven't lived that. I will never sound authentic. I can only sound that I am trying to parrot out someone else's story, and that will be evident. Whoever uh, sees it all together. And that's when the authentic voice should actually play a huge role. You need to give your story, AI can draft and refine it, but you need to have your fingerprints on it. The story needs to be yours. It cannot be created by an AI and you start living that story. That's impossible. And then a real life reflection. AI can show you what, but only you can understand why. Got it? It can tell you, okay, what is good and what is not required. It can tell you you are using too many pauses here. It can tell you your grammar is wrong, but you know why. You know why you should improve that. So you take inspiration from it and you actually embed that in your speech. So, and then say trust. That is very essential. Trust is a currency. In an AI world, human trust becomes a rearrest altogether. Okay. So because see, human trust here is very rare because nowadays there are so many deepfakes. There are so many things which doesn't exist, and there are so many influencers. You go to Instagram, you see there are until number of influencers creating content which perhaps somehow influence people's lives. They can get influenced, they can get entertained, but what will matter in the long run is again the trust factor. We human beings will start valuing trust a lot because there is so many things to distrust in the world, and that's when our own trust attribute comes at the forefront. We need to be somebody whose story is real, whose conversation is real. That's when we can have that heart to heart connect, not with virtual or fabricated content, because that will never build a heart to heart content, and the world will become a little more distorted place altogether if we follow that path. So, if we have to build a better tomorrow, then the trust is our currency, and the trust is built especially when we have our voice absolutely authentic. And that's where Toastmasters comes into play. Toastmasters enables us to create that voice that matters. So, as we, as we discussed earlier, so practical tips here when it comes to the element of AI, right? So, see, AI, we can generate 20 unexpected table topics. You need to choose which one you want to practice. It can give throw table topics at you, but you need to practice at home. If you're going for a table topics contest, and if you want to practice, you can pick the topics from there, but the story has to be yours. You need to choose the hardest one. You need to practice. Speech structure. You can paste your draft on an AI LLM tool. Ask AI to identify the gaps in the flow, but it cannot replace your story. Your story is yours. A debate prep, for instance. So an AI can perhaps give you an argument in a debate from an opposite angle. So you can expect how the argument is going to be. But when you go on the stage for a debate, how that person from the other end is going to argue, you don't know that. You can just practice. It can give you a net practice. But in an IPL, when Virat Kohli is facing the best of the bowlers, he doesn't know whether the ball will be a wind swing or an outswing. He can only practice it in the net with his own bowlers. But then when he is at a in an arena, there he cannot expect that the ball would come in the same seam balance at the same pace as what he had practiced in the nets. The net practice was good to ensure that he has the focus, ensure that he understands the variations, ensure that he has his reflexes right, ensure that he has his muscle memory intact. That practice will help him, but then he has to fine tune that when he is in the arena facing a real time bowler from the other end. That's what is essential. So you can use AI to practice, but you will have to put your foot down in a real time scenario. And that's when your cognitive skills will come into play, that how you fine tune fast. Filter word analysis, or you can transcribe speech where outer count every or you can do an audience research, profile your audience before a keynote or an evaluation, or you can create certain opening generators, say 10 opening generators. Choose the one that you would like to say. But you have to practice that. You cannot actually depend on it, and you can just say it the way AI is generated. You have to add emotions to it that comes from your voice, from your heart. So AI, you can use AI to amplify your voice, but you should never replace. You cannot say that everything will be AI generated and you then automatically the human element will be lost. The human value will be lost, which we cannot afford. So, so the skills that becomes more valuable from now on is your emotional intelligence, the authentic storytelling. You see, there is a proportion. 95% value is for emotional intelligence. The authentic storytelling will have a 92% value. The ethical leadership has a 90% value. Ethical leadership is when you go to an office and you practice leadership, you cannot ask AI if somebody is asking for a sick leave, how should I not grant that leave? That is incorrect. That is not ethical leadership. If you are asking AI that somebody is asking for a sick leave, you will have to ensure that that is something which comes from your heart. You have to understand the situation. You have to ensure that you are able to grant that leave to the person. You have to ensure that you understand, empathize. You cannot actually depend on a response from AI and the AI comes back and says, no, 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 don't do that. Then again, you lost your ethical leadership. You need to ensure that your ethics as a human being is maintained if you have to be a good people person. And that you can only practice in the arena of Toastmasters. Because in Toastmasters, you do that day in and day out. As a club president, you practice that. You understand when people would not want to deliver a speech, how to motivate and encourage them. What is the underlying reason that they are not delivering a speech? As an area director, I would understand if in a club is perhaps struggling, what is the way the club can be motivated and the club can be made more effective. How I need to work with the club leaders so that they can drive it accordingly in their clubs. I cannot ask AI to do that because AI will never be able to understand the challenges that I may be facing. It can give a very, I would say, very a technical response to me, but it will never ask me understand the challenges that my presidents are facing. It will never be able to understand the challenges my VP educations are facing. And same applies to you. It will never be able to understand the challenge that your members are facing. Ethical leadership cannot be replaced with AI. That has to be ensured. That has to come from your heart, from your experience, from your emotional intelligence. Human trust, as I believe it's non-negotiable. In the age of AI, one thing that remains constant and the greatest attribute for us is human trust. In in Toastmasters, we build everything on trust. As you know, integrity is a very important value in Toastmasters, and integrity is only possible if there is a trust. You cannot say I'm have an integrity mindset, and then people don't trust you. I cannot go back and to Arvind and say, okay, I follow integrity, and then Arvind, and then I today's meeting I don't end up. I say, okay, Arvind, can you continue with the meeting? I am not delivering this session. Then I'm actually Arvind will lose trust. He may not say that to me on the face, but he'll lose trust. If a, so that is where trust comes into play. Presence and listening, again, very essential, and adaptability. As I mentioned earlier, you will be in the arena. You have to ensure that you are able to adapt to the changing situation. AI will never tell you that or never be able to live that. So AI can pass the Turing test, right? But it will never pass the Toastmasters test because Toastmaster test only asks one question. Did you show up? Did you stand up? Did you speak the truth? That's what Toastmasters is all about. It's about showing up. As I've been always telling, it's never about results. It is all about the process. It is all about showing up, being there for each other, enabling everyone to become a better version of themselves. That could never happen with us depending on an LLM. I will never be able to understand the emotional drive in any of my presidents, or any of my presidents will not be able to understand the emotional drive in any of their members, depending on an LLM. Tomorrow, I cannot expect, okay, somebody gets angry on me, and I cannot go to AI and say, this person is angry on me. How do I manage this person? The AI doesn't know why the person is angry. How will the AI will manage that or give me an adequate response? It can only give certain thumb rules that this is the way you can manage the emotions, but I have to manage the emotions by my own. I cannot manage the emotions as what an LLM tells me to do. The emotions will vary, the person's response will vary, and that's what is very essential in a Toastmasters platform. This ecosystem is human driven. While AI evolution is true, is persistent, and it's only going to get better with time, one thing that it doesn't replace is the human element, and for that, Toastmasters actually offers the platform to ensure that we maintain that human element and we thrive and become a better version of ourselves. So that's what I wanted to share with you people. Any questions? Happy to hear and respond back.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pratyajit, for a great session. We never felt like it almost went for almost 30 minutes. We never felt like, and it is so lively, and we were able to connect the whole concept of Toastmasters values and then the AI value and where is the disconnect, everything. Thank you so much. I'm just waiting for a few minutes if any doubts from any of the fellow members and guests.
I don't have any doubts, but I just want to say that your voice just sounded so good. It felt like you had been doing this for a long time. So I don't know if you ever had a
Does it feel
chance
like
to
AI?
go. Yeah, maybe. I mean, if I said that, I don't think it would land as a compliment, but yeah, I mean, it sounded very good. I don't know, maybe you should try going in for documentaries or something. It's very nice.
Sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback and definitely appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. Thank you, Pratyajit. Yeah, just to add, Toastmaster Srilata is our new member of the club. She joined
Oh,
from Republic of Toastmasters. She is already a experienced Toastmaster, and she just joined our club. I think it is some.
brilliant. Welcome, Srilata, to the family of IBC Titans as well as to District E01. We'll work together more effectively to build that human ecosystem. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Thank
And
you so much.
Arvind has been doing a fantastic job for all these months and entire year, holding the fort so well. and appreciate his leadership. I think it's a great learning for all of us how to manage things amidst any circumstances. Okay, so in case there are no other questions, I will drop off. And I wish you an absolutely fantastic meeting for how much ever time is left. And we'll keep catching up every now and then. I'll be attending your meetings more often in the next 2 months. And yeah, let's win together.
Thank you so much, Pratyajit, for a great session. Mm,
Thank you. Bye bye.
yes, thank you so much. Yeah,
Thanks for having me. Bye.
yeah. Bye. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. We have a few guests here. So before moving on, I just want to hear from the all the guests. Yeah. Hi, Shibaram Naik. Thanks for joining our meeting. Could you please give? Yeah. Could you
Yeah,
please?
yeah, Arvind.
Uh,
Yeah. Thanks for calling it. Let me switch on my video.
uh,
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 so I'm a Toastmaster, and you can say being in Toastmaster almost 10 years,
wow.
and also I was part of IBC Titan, but due to organization, I left organization right in 2020. But I'm still part of the guest groups. Sometimes I join. I know. What is the uh, your division director, close friend of
Lakshmi.
mine, Beggar Lakshmi, and I know a couple of friends with our Toastmaster community. I was Titan, but I see familiar face. Sometimes you rolling out the poster in the guest groups. So today's I feel I was thinking this is Thursday. I think you earlier you doing Thursday, right? The same
Uh,
time. Yeah. I was thinking this is Thursday, but looks like I saw today 29. So today Wednesday. So meeting was moved. I had some free time, so let me join. But of course, being pleasure of for Toastmaster last many years. I think what Prithvijit is saying right is equal to me. Also, I have part of division area director. Also take different roles. Only thing right. Sometimes be I know was surprisingly right in when I was IBC Titan, I have taken VP Education, VP Membership, and also that time right we have a 35 40 people are there. Uh, so I know there is a little bit challenge here in the
mm,
club, but what I'm trying to say keep whatever thing right maybe if you are 5 or 6 or 7 people try join try to do some of things right half an hour you take your club what to bring to play it and same time 30 minutes 40 minutes you can play table topics right
mm, mm, mm,
so that way right you are not if you think right, okay you have only 5 people you don't want to do conduct in this case right your momentum is going up
mm,
and that strategy part where you are taking time let's say you are Arvind you may be president I don't know who are there let's say somebody is president right you have to brainstorming where you have to take extra effort right to discuss so in this forum right you can join 15 20 minutes half an hour then you brainstorming right okay now this situation there what way you can bring it is something guest speaker it is something you can do something in meeting so people will try to join the membership will going to increase so that's way right at least you are in already in the right zone same times the motivation with other people will come big see corporate club always plus and minus there because I am being in the corporate club community club so I know sometimes this impact will happen then people will think about the job first right so try I'll see if you I can join as a guest see this one and I can give you also some of times if possible right as a maybe speech or something I can do but keep going don't stop actually because I can say a similar face I have a community club when I left Oracle I was joined Amex actually and that's completely COVID time people are worry about health. That time, 2021, I have to think about taking the leadership in president and obviously all virtual. And I don't know anyone. You can meet somebody, right? I don't know online. I'm in Bangalore. The club is in Gurgaon. You think about right. So I have motivated people. I did couple of session. Then we went to 35, 40 people. So that will happen. Time will come. This is a part of things. You need to follow that some of guidelines of Toastmaster. That's it. That's still people will come, right? People will come, people will go. So we cannot stop anyone, right? This is actually there is some challenge there. So, but keep continue. My suggestion, right? Don't stop. Keep continue. Take half an hour also meeting. That's fine. Every week, right? That builds a momentum. Yeah, this is festival time. That's if you sometimes Wednesday festival coming, leave it. But if there is no festival, try to keep it half an hour. Do brainstorming 15 minutes. That will help you. That's my suggestion on that. And
Sure.
people who are guest, actually, I think Sri Lata or someone, maybe try to join. I think this is a great community. Not only right, actually leadership, the networking, the positive impact, right, and also the people around. There is no negative talk here. So that's one thing, right? Like actually, stay active in a Toastmaster, I can say.
True, very true. Thank you so much, Shivaram, for joining us. It's we all of us feel very proud for you actually after joining like many years. You coming back. Thank you so much, Shivaram. Yeah, I said, will you please
And
come back?
also, I'll tell you, right, sometimes, right, that club name, maybe if you know that IBC Titan, what is the behind IBC Titan? You go and find out. Maybe I'll sometime join why IBC Titan came. This name, we know what is the reason.
Yeah.
So maybe
Building.
you can
Yes.
reach out, but the reason behind that IBC Titan, that's a different story. We have done actually because of the building name, the
Yes.
IBC Titan
Knowledge
next
Park.
to Knowledge Park. But earlier, where club was there in Tower D.
Mm.
Okay. So, but unfortunately, that office is closed. So we have to move to our Kalyal Magram, Krishna Magram, right?
Krishna Magnum. Yes.
So we cannot change the club name. Already registered happen. So what we'll do? We have brainstorming with all the officers because I was ex-com there. So we told IBC means information beyond
Inspirational
the express
communication.
communication. We started with the every each letter we were taking what should we do with the IBC value. So that's actually the name the club came actually. Just want to for your professor.
Nice. Yeah, that is becoming our club.
Correct,
Yeah, motto thing, inspiration beyond communication.
correct.
Thank you so much, Shivram. Definitely. Since I think you are part of Leap 3.0 as part of District 121 also. Yeah, I would probably I will. Yep. I want to need your number. Probably will connect sometime back. Please feel free to
Sure,
come
no
to
worries.
the club for either speech or educational session.
No
Anything,
worry, no worry.
Shivram.
Yeah, you can do that. Yes. I'm still
Yeah.
part of district same our club. I am part of Wow Toastmaster Club.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Nice. Okay. I think. Sure. I just stop recording. Thank you so much.